Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who are learning this truth from and who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. I'm entitled this one, Esau's words are smoother than butter. Because we see what this so-called white man is doing. The self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom, talking to the masses about his new system, new digital system that ultimately is going to lead to the mass implementation of the MOTB. But he uses all these deceptive words that we need to get the immigration under control. Everybody needs to be tracked. Everybody has to have a digital I to the D because we got to know where everybody's at. And then you have these red-blooded Edomites like, yeah, that's good. Track those, those immigrants. They're over here stealing our jobs, and we need to track, domestic teas around the states and around the world. But really, these Edomites. And even some of them are our own people. They don't know, because really these Edomites, they don't matter. But you still have a lot of our people still trusting in democracy and Republicans and Democrats. Oh, next year next election I'm gonna vote Democrat because I voted Republican and nothing has changed. Just going around in circles like in the wilderness, not knowing that Esau Edom's about to make that move where he's going to collapse this system. He's going to bring in the solution, which is going to be that Karagma, that MOTB, the RFID micro CHIP. And majority of these people up on the planet Earth, they're going to take it because he's going to offer incentives. He's going to tell them, if you take it, everything's going to be okay. You'll be able to participate in society. And a lot of our people, they're going to get fooled. These 2/3 Israelites, because they've trusted in oppression. They trusted in Esau, Edom. Like it says in Isaiah 30 and 31, woe unto you to go down to Egypt for help. Majority of our people, instead of going to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for help, especially in those times, when, if you don't have that micro CHIP, you won't be able to participate in society. Majority of our people, they're going to go down to Egypt for help because they don't have faith. They don't have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai dealing with them that allows them to understand, this is what's going to happen if you take this MOTB. But a lot of our people, they're going to get deceived by this devil. This is Psalms 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And that's going into nothing else but the self-proclaimed white man, Esau, Edom. Then you do have some of our people, these Christian pastors in the other Israelite camps, but who's the devil who's behind it all, who's causing, all this destruction, death around the world, cutting down the trees, polluting the water? Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. But yet he's doing all these things, dropping bombs over there in the Middle East. But yet our people still trust in this devil. They still trust in this system. They still trust in the U.S. dollar when, it's tanking daily. But that's Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai putting that spirit of deep sleep, because, like it says, the deceived and the deceiver are his. Yeah, it's ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai who's putting it upon the spirit of this devil, Esau, Edom, to talk those smooth words unto our people, because that's what is going to lead, to them to trust in it. The micro CHIP, the MOTB. I'm going to take it. He's telling me that I'm going to get a universal basic income. I'm going to be able to have this and have that incentive. Just like 5 years ago during the C-19, the pandemic. What did he do? If you take this jump shot, everything's going to be okay. You'll be immune to the this to the E's. And what ended up happening? Our people are dying now from taking that jump shot, taking the boosters, jump shots, and now our people, they're dropping dead. But That was a light thing. When the MOTB gets made mandatory, that's something that you can't repent of. But yet, our people are going to trust in this devil because they don't know to trust in anything else. They don't know to trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. So majority of our people, they're just going to have to find out the hard way to not trust in the devil. They're going to learn by death, by pain after death. This is Psalms 14 and verse 1. It says, to the chief musician, a psalm of David, and it reads, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So there's not one Edomite upon the planet Earth that does good willingly. Oh, I woke up today, I'm an Edomite, I'm a Rothschild, a Rockefeller. How can I do good to the world? No, they do the complete opposite. They wake up on their beds, devising new ways to destroy around the world. Devising new ways to put the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to death. How can I kill them off more and more? But yet you still have our people trusting in this devil, running in circles like in the wilderness. Verse 2, the Lord Yahweh Bashim shall look down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High. Verse 3, they are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. No, not one. So there is no such thing as a righteous Edomite. Like our people and these red-blooded Edomites believe that the solution to all these problems around the world is we got to get a righteous leader in there, a righteous Edomite. And then he's going to fix everything. He's going to, inflation's going to go away. We're going to have cleaner food. We're not going to have any Red 40. Shit, the only solution to the world's problems is the kingdom of heaven, is Yahweh Shai coming back, bringing down the wicked, establishing the kingdom of heaven, the throne of David, have all these heathens under subjection, and the nation of Israel being in that rulership position. That's the only solution to all this wickedness, all this filth that goes on around the planet Earth. Because majority of our people, they're through. They don't know what the hell's going on. So when the MOTB gets made present, our people are going to trust in this devil because maybe he changed his ways. Maybe he's not going to give me a poison jump shot. This is Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. So Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, he cannot change his ways. He's never going to change his ways. It don't matter how many decades, hundreds of years go by, because our people, believe that, okay, it's been 100 years, it's been 200 years. Maybe this devil's not wicked like he used to be, man. He changed his ways. He let us go free from slavery. Now we have jobs. Now we have cars. Now we could pay taxes. Now we could get into debt. How the hell is that? How the hell is that good? This devil putting the whole world in debt, especially here in America, mortgages, car notes, child support. And his main target be Jake. Letting you know who he really hates. He hates the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans because he knows who we are. He knows that we're the true Israelites of the scriptures, not no tiny caps over there in the Holy Land, the 48ers. No, those are false people. But yet even that, our people were believing that the small hats, the tiny caps, the tiny hats over there in the Holy Land, that they were the true people of Yahweh Bashim Shai. But now, that the whole world's waking up to the fact that this is the devil. Now the whole world's looking at him sideways, but yet, he still have our people trusting in him. This is Psalm 64 and verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And who's that? Nothing else but Esau, Edom. And the only ones who are going to be protected from Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, when he comes down with that great wrath, are going to be the elect. Because our people, they're not going to trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. They're going to trust in whatever Esau, Edom offers them. Verse 3, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. And that's Esau, Edom, constantly talking down on Jake, Oh, y'all just blacks. Y'all just, Latinos. Y'all 3/5 of a human being. Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And who is the perfect? The saints, the nation of Israel, the Israelites. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. So they're constantly doing wickedness to our people behind closed doors. Putting all these fast deserts, in the hood. Jake can't find a grocery store in a 20, 30-mile radius. Polluting the air, constantly spraying chemtrails, wherever Jake lives at. Polluting the water, like in Flint, Michigan. Here they're doing all these things, but yet Jake is like, nah, he's not so bad. Maybe he changed his ways. Verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And shit, Yahweh Shemiel Shai seen them. But they were hidden, a couple, decades ago. But now that Yahweh Shemiel Shai put the spirit back in those dried bones, the Israelites, the prophets, and will be waking up in these latter days to prophesy the downfall, to chant this place down, starting with our elder high priest Abba Bibbins, on down to our apostles, elders, bishops, brothers on down. Now the whole world's starting to see that the problem of the earth is nothing else but Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So these Edomites, these self-proclaimed white people, the only thing that they were created to do is wickedness. So they're going to go all out and doing wickedness, devise a new way to, to mess the world up, to mess these people up. And really, the whole infrastructure for the MOTB is already here, is already set up. They're just waiting for that event, to all hell break loose and mass implemented that charagma, the MOTB, the RFID CHIP. This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10, also known as Ecclesiasticus. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And you got to know who your enemy is. Majority of our people, yeah, they see Esau, he put us in slavery, but they don't know that ultimately, majority of our people, that he's our adversary. He's our number one enemy. He wants to do away with us as a nation. He wants to put us in a digital slavery, but that's not going to happen. Yahweh Shemiel Shai said, if man can count the stars and the grains of the sands of heaven, then he'll do away with the nation of Israel, which we know that's not going to happen. So, Esau, Edom, he's not going to get away. Yahweh Shemiel Shai is going to put a stop to this devil, and he's doing it now. We don't have no 1,500 years, because if that was the point, then no flesh will be saved. But yet, you still have our people over here trusting in America, Babylon the Great. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rusts had not been altogether wiped away. So, the rust, his wickedness is never going to be wiped away, because Esau was just created to do wickedness. He was created to be that thorn on our side, until we get free from captivity. When Yahweh Shai comes back, Lord will be a part of that number. But other than that, this devil's wicked. He's never going to change his spots. He's never going to change his ways. But yet, you still have our people trusting in him. But that's going to lead him to destruction. But that's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from and who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.